one.
Bonjour tout le monde! Today we're talking about les pronoms objets directs or direct object pronouns in French. So a couple of definitions that you need to know before we really get into this is you need to know that the subject of a sentence is who or what is doing the action of a sentence. This is the doer. The verb is the action of the sentence, so what is being done. And then the object is who or what is receiving the action, the receiver. Now, a pronoun is a word that's used to replace a noun to avoid repetition. And we have already learned subject pronouns like je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, and il, elle, plural. Today, we're talking about object pronouns, which are words that will replace the object of a sentence to avoid repetition. And we're focusing specifically on direct object pronouns, which is a word used to replace the object that is directly receiving the action in order to avoid repetition. So let's take a look. Our normal sentence structure goes subject, verb, and object. And you'll see right here, I have an example sentence. Marianne et Marie aiment manger les frites, donc la mère de Marie fait les frites souvent. Marianne and Maria like to eat fries, so Maria's mom makes fries a lot. Okay, we said fries, les frites, we said that twice. So we can actually replace les frites with a direct object pronoun in order to avoid repetition, because les frites is our object. So let's start digging in. First, it's good to know what your subject of your sentence is, because you want to know that you're replacing the correct thing. You cannot replace a direct or an object with a subject pronoun, nor can you replace a subject with an object pronoun. So Marianne et Marie is the subject of our first half of our sentence, and then la mère de Marie is the subject of the second half of our sentence. Our verb will come next. It's really important to know what the verb is, because you have to figure out what action is being done to the object. So our first part, we have two verbs. Actually, we have aime, which is like, and manger, which is to eat. So they are liking to eat. In the second half of our sentence, fait, makes, is our verb. So we're saying Marie's mom makes fries often. And the last thing we need to identify is our object. The object, remember, is whatever is receiving the action of the verb. So Marianne and Marie are the ones that are liking to eat, and they're liking to eat fries. So les frites is our object. In the second half, we have la mère de Marie fait. Marie's mom makes, and what is she making? Les frites. Elle fait les frites. Now, in order to clean this up a little bit, because we repeated les frites twice, we can actually avoid repetition with our object pronouns. So let's take a look at how we identify our object pronouns. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is identify the object of a sentence, which is the only thing that we can replace with an object pronoun. So we already know that Marianne et Marie is our subject, aime manger is our verb. So whatever is being liked to eat is les frites, so fries. That will be the object of the first half of our sentence. You'll see that this is actually repeated in the second half of our sentence. So this is where we're going to be doing the replacement. So we have donc la mère de Marie fait les frites souvent. The second part is that we're going to identify the person of the object, so whether it's first, second, or third person, whether the speaker is talking about him or herself, talking to somebody about them or themselves, and or talking about a person or a thing that's not involved in the conversation. And then we need to find the gender of the object. Here with les frites, we are in the third person, and it's the third person plural. And because it's plural, it doesn't matter what the gender is. Right? Our object pronouns then are broken up in first, second, and third person, and then singular and plural. So if you want to say me, we have me, and we use M apostrophe if our verb starts with a vowel. If you want to say you, tu, or T apostrophe if your verb starts with a vowel. If we want to say either him, her, or it, this depends on the gender of the object that you're replacing. So if your object is masculine, you use le. If feminine, you use la. And then regardless of the gender, if your verb starts with a vowel, you're going to use L apostrophe. Then to say us, we use nous. You plural or y'all, you use vous. These are the same as our subject pronouns. And then if we're talking about them, so we're in the third person plural, we will use les. Also very important to note that for me, tu, nous, and vous, those can only be used for people. those objects will not be used for things because things can't talk. But for le, la, and les, those can be used for people or things. So you have to make sure you know what you're talking about. And then our third and last step is to replace the object with the appropriate object pronoun according to its position and its person and its gender, okay? So we identify that the objects are les frites in both parts. We can replace that with les. And so then we place the object pronoun before the verb, giving it its action. All right, so we're still talking about French fries, and we could, in the first half of the sentence, actually leave les frites because we didn't have to get rid of it in the first half of the sentence, but we just did in this same situation. We had Marianne et Marie aiment les manger. The reason why we put les before manger is because as much as Marianne and Marie are liking to eat the fries, they're not just liking the fries, they're liking to eat the fries. Eating is what they're doing to the fries. So they need to have the object pronoun right before manger. Donc, la mère de Marie les fait souvent. What is the mère making? She's making the fries, so les will come before fait because that's the verb giving the fries the action of being made. All right, so just a review of all the information that we had on these last slides is the steps to replacing an object pronoun. First, we identify the object to be replaced. Next, we identify the person of the object and the gender of the object. Then we replace the object with the appropriate object pronoun according to its person and gender, and we also need to consider number, so whether it's singular or plural. And then we place the object pronoun before the verb giving its action. And then here are our direct object pronouns. Make sure you've got this copied down in your notes. Note, if you're writing a sentence in which you're not really replacing an object, you're just saying, he hit me or she did it, you're actually just going to use the appropriate object pronoun for whatever it is, whether it's me or it or you, and place it before the verb. Okay, so here we have, she hits me, elle me frappe. A lot of times when we're using the object pronouns that are specifically for people, like me, tu, nous, vous, we're not going to be replacing them so much. We're just going to be saying them. She hits me, I talk to you, he does it is going to be much better and much easier to figure out. So he hates her, il la déteste. Remember la because her, she is feminine. And here is your a buffet. Make sure you write these down, the entire sentence in your notes, and bring them into class tomorrow. All you've got to do is replace the object in the second part of the sentence with the appropriate object pronoun. So here we have Jobab adore les feux d'artifice parce qu'il achète les feux d'artifice chaque année. We have les feux d'artifice, that's our object in the first half of the sentence, and it's actually repeated here in the second half of the sentence. So all you need to do is follow the steps to replace les feux d'artifice in the second half of the sentence, and that cleans up your sentence. Voila! Make sure you bring these in. We'll check them in class tomorrow. À bientôt!